It was March 8, 2014, a day that began like any other for the 239 passengers and crew on board Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. The plane was scheduled for a routine journey from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. But somewhere over the South China Sea, the Boeing 777 disappeared without a trace. What happened next would become one of the most perplexing mysteries in modern aviation history. But the question is, what are we not being told? At 1:21 a.m., Flight MH370's transponder went silent. The plane veered off its scheduled route and headed west, toward one of the most remote regions of the world. This wasn't a minor deviation, it was an intentional maneuver. For over an hour, MH370 continued to send signals to radar systems, but with no communication from the cockpit. Who was controlling the plane during this time, and what were they trying to achieve? Initially, search efforts focused on the South China Sea, but weeks later, investigators announced a shocking twist. The plane wasn't in the South China Sea at all. Using satellite data, experts traced the aircraft's final moments to the southern Indian Ocean, thousands of miles off course. Why would a commercial flight travel into one of the most desolate areas on Earth? Was it a desperate act of survival? Or something far more sinister? Theories began to emerge. Some believed the pilot, Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, deliberately diverted the plane in a horrifying act of murder-suicide. Others argued there could have been a hijacking, possibly by terrorists or even rogue operatives. But if it was a hijacking, why were no demands made? Why was no group willing to claim responsibility for such a high-profile event? The silence was deafening. In the years that followed, small pieces of debris believed to belong to MH370 began washing up along the coastlines of Africa and islands in the Indian Ocean. These fragments painted a clear picture, a plane that likely suffered catastrophic damage. But even with these discoveries, the central mystery remained. Where was the rest of the aircraft? And more importantly, where was the black box? Some began to speculate that the truth was being hidden. In 2018, an independent investigator claimed to have found satellite images showing possible debris at the ocean floor. Yet, these leads were dismissed or ignored. Was this evidence overlooked due to incompetence? Or was it deliberate? Whispers of a cover-up began to spread. Could this tragedy have connections to sensitive military operations in the region? Could MH370 have stumbled upon something it wasn't supposed to see? One of the strangest clues lies in the satellite data. A series of handshakes between MH370 and an Inmarsat satellite. These signals confirmed the plane remained airborne for nearly 7 hours after disappearing from radar. But why were there no distress signals? Why didn't passengers use their phones to call for help? And why did the flight seem to zigzag before heading into open water? Was someone deliberately trying to confuse investigators? And then there's the most chilling theory of all, that the disappearance wasn't an accident at all, but a calculated move involving advanced technology. Some researchers suggest the plane's electronic systems were hacked, allowing it to be remotely controlled. If true, this could point to a level of sophistication far beyond anything we've seen in aviation security. But who would have the capability to execute such a plan? And for what purpose? To this day, the mystery of MH370 remains unsolved. Was it a tragic accident, an act of terror, or a shadowy operation hidden in plain sight? Despite the discoveries of debris, despite countless investigations, the world is no closer to knowing the truth. Families of the victims continue to demand answers, but their pleas are met with silence. The question we're left with is, why? Who benefits from keeping this mystery unsolved? 239 souls vanished that day, leaving behind questions that may never be answered. But what?